Hello and welcome. It's Andrea. And here on the Mainstream Reiki YouTube channel, I've only ever had one goal, and that is to be helpful. I hope you've enjoyed the channel and the many different videos that I have here for you. We're going to start a new series, though, that I hope is helpful in a different way. And I'm calling it Reiki 101. And that's because people have so many questions about Reiki, and I thought it would be helpful to offer some insight for you based on my many years of experience. I started with Reiki back in 1995, done thousands of sessions. And so what I want to do is I want to help you understand what Reiki is and what it isn't. I want to help demystify this and bring it more mainstream, because Reiki is really something that everyone can benefit from. And if you've ever heard anything about Reiki that's made you fearful or scared about it, then I'm really glad that you're listening to me right now, and I hope that you'll stick around for this series. Also, I hope that anyone who has a question about Reiki and sees this right now will comment your questions down below the video. Ask me, what are your common questions? In this video, we're going to start with what is Reiki. And then tune in every week on Fridays, and I'll have a new video for you. I also want to warn you, I'm not going to script this too much. I just find it more real, I think, if I just try to talk. Hopefully it comes out pretty well, but we'll see. And if I need to get a little bit more organized in my thinking, please let me know that also in the comments. I just kind of wanted to have a more relaxed atmosphere for this series. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And what is Reiki? Ooh, this is really hard because there's so many different things that I could say, but let me go a little bit more into teacher mode. Reiki level 1. What would I say to you in class? And I would say that Reiki is a Japanese healing technique that helps the body reduce stress and relax. And that stress reduction and relaxation actually helps the body to heal itself. You know, we all know that the body has mechanisms in place, the immune system, for example, that helps us heal ourselves, to find that balance again. We get sick and then we recover. The body responds to a virus or a bacteria, and it works to get us back into balance. It works toward wellness. And so Reiki supports those systems for us. And the way it does that is it helps shift our nervous system from the fight or flight mode, which we're in most of the time, in our busy world. And it shifts that into the rest, digest, and restore mode of the body. And so what these are known as is the sympathetic and the parasympathetic modes of the nervous system. The body can't repair itself when it's under stress. It needs to be in a relaxed state to do that. Scientific studies support the fact that Reiki does this. And so if you're coming to this video thinking that Reiki is completely woo-woo, it's new age, and it's all made up, search online, find some studies, actual scientific studies that back up the efficacy of Reiki. Not only that, there are hundreds of hospitals in the United States and even more around the world that offer Reiki in some form in their healthcare facilities. And some hospitals even have Reiki teachers. They actually offer Reiki classes on site. That's pretty remarkable. So I just want to start off the series with that. So if you're skeptical, which I have to admit, I was completely skeptical when I first found Reiki back in 1995. With my physics degree that I had, I was very analytical, I was very science-minded, but I have to tell you, it is something that sounds too good to be true, something that sounds like the results don't match the level of work that you have to do. It really sounds too good to be true, but what I'll say is it really is that good. And it doesn't cause harm. It's perfectly natural. And anybody can learn it anybody can receive the benefits, and you don't have to believe in it, and it'll still work. Pretty remarkable. All right, so let's get back to what Reiki is. So, as I said, it's a stress reduction and relaxation technique that helps supports the body in its own ability to heal itself. Another thing I can tell you is that Reiki is holistic. And what that means is it treats the whole person. And this means emotions, thoughts, thought patterns, and we often get stuck in a rut. Reiki can actually help us recalibrate our thought patterns and shift those into a healthier state of being. It's really remarkable. Physically, it's been shown to decrease pain and the need for pain medications in scientific studies in hospitals. So what we see is pain reduction, lessening of anxiety, better sleep. My goodness, there's really way too many things to actually list here, but better. That's what I'm going to say. In one word, Reiki can help people feel better, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And so that's one word, better. Reiki equals better. That's what it offers all who enjoy Reiki. And so let's see, what else can I tell you about Reiki? It's administered through hands of the practitioner. So the hands are either placed on the body or off the body. And if you've seen any of my videos, you're well aware that Reiki is transmitted over distance as well. So people don't even have to be in the same physical location in order to have the benefits of Reiki. And a quick note, Reiki people didn't come up with distance Reiki because of the pandemic. It's always been a part of Reiki training. And Reiki actually goes back to a little over 100 years ago. It originated the way we practice it today for the most part in Japan. And it was founded by a man named Mikao Usui. And that's a whole history that we could talk about. But my point in bringing that up in this little way is that there is a tradition and a framework for Reiki classes and training and different techniques that go along in the coursework for a Reiki practitioner. And distance Reiki has been a part of that for decades. So this is nothing new for us. So it wasn't something that we came up with when we couldn't get together in person as a result of the pandemic. The entire system of Reiki is based on the life force energy that flows in and around all living things. And that might sound kind of woo-woo, but if we think about it, everything that is alive has that vitality, has an energy to being alive. I don't know a better way to say it really, but all living things have life force energy. That life force energy flows in and around the body in a certain way. We have what I call energy anatomy. So you might have heard words like chakras and meridians, for example. And so these energy centers or pathways in the body help the life force energy flow and be distributed in a certain way to help support life in the physical body. And so this is really central to Reiki practice because it is this life force energy that helps us feel in balance when it flows in and around the body the way it's designed to. The problem is that we're under stress in life. We have abuse and trauma and all kinds of things that upset that flow of energy. And we'll probably talk much more about all that stuff later, but just in short, stresses of everyday life get in the way of that energy flowing freely the way it's designed to. What I want to say here is that a Reiki person offers Reiki energy through their hands, either to themselves or another person, and even over distance. And what the purpose of that is to help that life force energy restore back to flowing the way it's intended to. I hope that that makes sense. So whatever's been blocking the energy from flowing the way it's intended to, whatever has been the issue of imbalance, Reiki helps to release those so that the flow is restored. That, I think, is an important aspect of Reiki. So we've got life force energy flowing in and around our bodies. When that does that in a balanced way, we feel good, we feel centered, we sleep well, we process life and move through life with ease. But then when life happens and we react to that stress and perhaps have to just move on, we have to stuff emotions, we have to feel as though we've been hurt by others and we don't have a healthy way to remedy that. We have to move on. We have to get over it. But when we do those sorts of things, we're actually causing some issues in the way our energy flows. And so Reiki helps restore that balance again. Another thing I want to say in this video is that Reiki is a complementary therapy, not an alternative one. And that's a very important distinction because we're not asking anyone to ever replace medical care with Reiki. Reiki goes right along with anything that you might want to do or need to do for your well-being. And so if you, for example, are going through chemotherapy, you can also be receiving Reiki. And what is often seen is that the chemotherapy and that whole process is a bit smoother and the side effects are lessened for someone who is receiving Reiki throughout. So Reiki is just something, again, that makes life better. I thank you so much for tuning in to this, and I would welcome your questions down in the comments. Let's move on together, and we'll see where we go from here. And I hope you'll tune in next Friday for the next video. And if you're not subscribed and getting notifications and you don't want to miss these videos, now's a great time to do that. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to meeting you here next time.